more things that make you more stressed and cause you to fail. But if you're speaking your goals every day, you're speaking positivity every day, you're speaking your desires, all right? These are the things that you will bring into your reality because these are the things that you speak. Okay? So as I'm, teaching you guys this, take a second really quick, guys. What have you been speaking just today, right? What have you spoke today thus far? Have you spoke words of positivity or have you spoke words of negativity? All right. Have you put yourself in a position where you are aware of the things that you're speaking to your friends, to your family, to your significant other? Are you really sitting down and you're listening to the words that you're saying to other people? Because this is going to be a big game changer and it's going to be a huge component on whether you are able to improve your belief system. Okay, remember, your belief system is everything. Everything you want in life is all going to come down to your ability to believe that you can get it. If you don't believe that you can get it, you won't receive it. Everything I have till this day is because I believed that I can get it. I believed that I was going to be able to travel the world. I believed that I was going to be able to earn $30,000 a month and up. All right. I believed that I was going to have a team of 2,000 people in multiple different countries. I believed those things. Okay. And because I believed them, now I'm deserving and I can attract them into my reality. And the one way that I did it, one of the ways that I did it was through the words that I spoke and the words that I heard every day. So it's important that you understand this. Okay. And remember, you don't only hear yourself, you also hear audios when you go to events, your mentors, the trainings, the books that you read as you're reading to yourself. That's all things that you hear. There's a reason why for months and for almost over 2 years now, when I'm sleeping, I fall asleep listening to personal development. Okay. When I'm in the car on my way somewhere, I have personal development playing. Okay. I'm always reading every single day. Okay. I only listen to people that have the results that I want. I have selective hearing towards certain people, but when I'm with people that have the results that I want, I take the time to really listen to them. I take the time to really understand their reasoning behind why they do what they do. And it has something that has been able to change my life because now I went from a belief system that was filled with negative, filled with limiting beliefs, filled with just so much doubt, so much fear, to now a belief system that's filled with positivity. All right. A belief system that is empowering others to lead by example as well with their careers and with their journeys. And it has absolutely changed, but it came through the consistency of the words that I spoke and the words that I heard every day. So, in order for you to really, really increase your belief in what it is that you want, make sure that from this point moving forward, you take a very, very conscious effort in what you're speaking every day and what you're hearing every day. Because remember, whatever you speak about, you will bring about. Okay. That's number one. All right. The second thing that your belief system is made up of is the images that you look at. Okay. Whatever you see in your mind, you can hold in your hands. Okay. Whatever you see in your mind, you can hold in your hands. So, what images are you looking at every day? If you would go into my room, all right, you would see my goals all over. You know exactly what I want when you walk into my room. Now, if I were to walk into your room right now, what would I see? Would I just see your bed, your nightstand, your TV, your closet, so on and so forth? And or would I go in your room or would I see your goals, you know, pasted all over your wall? Or can I walk into your bathroom and your goals are written down on your mirror? Do you have a vision board? Okay. What's your lock screen? All right. What kind of images are you looking at on a day-to-day basis? You see, because these are the things that are going to help you, remember, increase and improve your belief system. All right. If you're only looking at negative images all day and images that don't empower you, and scrolling through Instagram and watching videos that don't bring any value into your life, you can't expect a life filled with abundance and freedom and all of these things that we want when you're not looking at the right images every day. Okay? If you don't have a vision board in your room that tells me what car you want, what house you want to live in, what places you want to travel to, the things you want to do for your family, then I know you're not serious about it. You gotta have something on a day-to-day basis that you can see every day that can remind you of what you are striving and working for every day. Okay? When you walk into my room, you see my goals. Okay, you see where I'm going. You already have an idea of what it is that I want because I have it all over my room. And I remember before I actually moved out here to Miami, in Arizona, that was when it was really intense. Right now I only have it in my room, okay, because I have roommates now. But back in Arizona, I had the whole apartment, so we had it all over the house, like in the living room, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, in both rooms. That we had a 2 bedroom. We even had it in the laundromat, literally. We had it all over the house because we understood that we had to saturate our minds with the images of the things that we wanted. So we had cars, Rolls Royces pasted on the wall. We had the next level in our business that we wanted to get to pasted in our rooms. We had, the houses, we had the places we wanted to travel to. We had affirmations all over. We had little sticky notes that we had pasted on the kitchen all over. I am abundant. I am successful. I am earning $10,000 a month. I am earning $25,000 a month. I am the owner of a brand new 2021 Rolls Royce. We had all of these images, all of these words all over the house. And we saturated our mind with these images and these words because we understood that whatever we were going to see in our mind consistently is what was going to be brought to our physical reality in the next coming months. And guys, I promise you this, all right? And I want you guys to really listen to what I'm about to tell you guys. When I was living in Arizona, I was living in a very nice 2 bedroom condo in Arizona. Very nice. Very grateful for it. Okay. And that was at the beginning of the year, from, about January to like about March is when I really was there. I was really there before that, but that's when I was like really there. I really officially went out there. And I was finishing up the lease there. And for those 3 months that I was there, we literally saturated our minds with nothing but, positive images of where we're going. And to think about it, I had an image of a penthouse in Miami on the beach, and now I'm living in it. And I would see it every day. And I would.
All right, guys, let's get started with today's call. We got about everybody on here. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody is having a beautiful start to their morning. I know I am. I'm feeling good. Today, I'm not on the golf course. Today, I'm on the call. And I'm sorry I missed you guys yesterday. I got invited to go play some golf and do some business meeting on the golf course. And I was like, man, this is awesome. I remember when, I would wake up, do my morning routine, and obviously, do mornings with Nano. But now, every once in a while I get invited to play golf in the morning, which is pretty cool because it's a new hobby for me. I absolutely love it. Actually, I'm actually addicted to golf now. And it's actually a pretty cool sport. I've been learning a lot. I've been educating myself a lot on it. And it's funny because the moment I got, into golf, now my whole algorithm for Instagram is all about golf, 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 golf. So pretty cool stuff. And I'm excited, but no golf for me today. Obviously, we got to get right back to the work, and excited to be here with all of you guys on this beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm excited. My name is Nano. For those who are new on this call, I'm your host, and we run mindset trainings and leadership trainings and helping people create the life that they truly want. We're coming up on the last couple of days. On Friday will be Mornings with Nano's 6-year anniversary. So it's going to be a good one, and I'm excited for that as well. And let me see. Yesterday, I did sign. So let me give you guys some updates. Yesterday, I signed I think it's called the waiver or the contract for the Mornings with Nano retreat. So things are moving along. We're finalizing some things, and I'm going to be announcing everything here the moment we finalize the rest of everything else. So yesterday, the contract was signed. So we're going to be working on that for the Mornings with Nano retreat. So it's going to be incredible. I'm telling you guys, it's going to be something that once you guys see what's about to happen at this retreat, you guys are going to be absolutely mind blown. So it's going to be a luxury wellness retreat. I want you guys to know this. It will be at the end of the year in November. And just think of a retreat that is going to be filled with everything that you could ever imagine, from massages to cold plunges, saunas, hyperbolic chambers, meditations on the beach, morning stretches, morning hikes to the waterfall, private trainings, all organic foods 3 times a day, beach club, relaxed vibes, treehouse vibes. It's going to be life changing. Honestly, is it going to be in the US? No, it's not going to be in the US. So you got to have your passport. It'll be 4 days. It'll be 4 days long. Just to give you guys just a little bit updates, just little glimpses. Get your passports. If you plan on going, get your passports. I already sold two of those houses privately to people that had reached out to me and were like, "Yeah, I really need to be there." But it will be in South America. South America is where it's gonna be. It's gonna be absolutely life changing for sure. The way I have it set up is it's gonna be good. So I'll keep you guys updated on when the call is, where I'm gonna announce everything, all the details, everything that's gonna be happening. But that will be happening at the end of the year, November-ish. Okay, so it's gonna be life changing. I'm telling you, the way I have it set up, the intentions, the just everything about it. I wish I could tell you guys more, but I want to keep it more of a surprise so that when you guys see it, is absolutely incredible. So just know the retreat is set in stone. Contract was signed yesterday, and once we get everything else put in, then it's gonna be good. So let's get started with today's training. I'm actually very, very excited for this training right here. So let me bring it up right here. So today we're going to talk about the 7 steps to create the life that you desire. That's what we're going to be covering today. The 7 steps, all right, to create the life that you desire. All right, so write that at the top of your paper. And if you guys are ready to take notes on today's training, put a 7 in the chat box. Put a 7 in the chat box. This has come in clutch for me for sure. Let me bring this up right here. Perfect. All right. So let's get started with today's training now. This training is super valuable for me. This was a training that was taught to me by one of my mentors. And he basically said, Nano, if you can follow these 7 steps, you can create the life that you want at any time. You can make a decision today and you can create the life that you want as long as you follow these 7 steps. And I remember learning this for the first time. I remember, basically getting this mentorship. And I remember sitting down with him and he was like, Nano, are you truly excited about creating the life that you want? I'm like, of course I am. And I wanted it more than ever at that time. I'll never forget when I was taught this training. He said, if you can follow these 7 steps that I'm going to give you this year, it'll change your life. But you have to follow these 7 steps. He said, I need you to take this and I need you to paste it on your in your room in a big post-it note so you can see it every day and you're reminded of it every single day. And when I did this was back in 2021 when I learned this training. And this training absolutely changed everything because I was taught it towards the end of 2020 going into 2021. So I remember learning it and I applied it all of 2021. Mind you guys, 2021 was the year that I've made the most money still to this day. Still to this day, that was the year that I made the most money. I was in the best position that I had ever been in. Hold up, I'm getting a phone call. Let me cancel. Oh, sheesh. I'm sorry, guys. I messed it up. Hopefully, can you guys still hear me on Instagram? I was getting a phone call. Let me put it on Do Not Disturb. It is on Do Not Disturb. So once I learned this, yeah, no sound. Sorry about that, bro. Let me just reset this. My bad, guys. Perfect. There we are. So once I learned it, I applied it consistently every single day. I applied these 7 steps consistently, and I want to give you guys these 7 steps here today, because if you guys do take what I'm saying right now and you apply it the same way I was taught to apply it, it could really help you guys out a lot. I'm telling you, these are 7 steps. And if you do how my mentor told me, he said, apply it every day. All right. And then he said, also paste it in your room somewhere where you can see it every day because you're reminded of it every single day. So here's the 7 steps. All right. The 7 steps. Step number 1. And it's an easy step, and it's something that we're all very aware of. Decide what you want. Decide what you want by the end of the year. The first thing is we got to find out what it is that we want first. Now, a lot of us, we probably already know this. But if you don't know this, we got to get clear on what we want. So if you're on this call and you're like, all right, then I already know what I want by December 31st. This is what I want in 2025. This is what I'm focusing on this year. This is exactly what I want. This is what I'm clear on what I want. Perfect. But if you're on the other side and you don't know what you want yet, then this is a really, really good time for you to get very, very clear on what it is that you want. You have to get clear on what you want. Have to. You must get clear on what you want. Like, I need to be able to go ask you, hey, Tay, hey, Pat, hey, Callie, hey, Isabel, hey, Ricardo, hey, Rosie, hey, Natasha, what do you want by the end of this year? And without thinking about it, you got to be able to tell me. Without thinking about it, it has to be, I want this. This is what I want. This is my goal by December 31st, 2025. And I remember because that's how I was checked. I always tell this story on how I was checked, and I want to remind you guys here today. So he's doing this training for me, and it's a one-on-one mentorship. So I'm sitting down with him, and he's like, okay, Nano, so do you know what you want? And I'm like, yeah, I know what I want. He was like, okay. So he was like, I'm going to run a little test by you. He like, what's your full name? I'm like, why are you asking me my full name? You know my name. He like, just answer the question. What is your full name? And I told him my name. My real name is Kevin Torres. He was like, what's your address? And I look at him all weird, like, he'd be like, he just answer the question. What's your address? And I gave him my address, and this was when I was living in New York, 555 West, this street, boom, boom, boom. Perfect. And he asks me questions that I knew the answers to right away. Right away. He asked me my name, my address, this, what's my mom's name, this, boom. He's like, what's your goal? He was like, what's your goal by the end of the year? And I sat there and I'm like, my goal by the end of the year, and I just, and for like 3 to 5 seconds, I just paused. And he said, you failed. I know what you mean, bro. I haven't even told you. He said, exactly. You didn't know it. You don't know your goal. You see, when I asked you your name, you answered it. When I asked you your address, you answered it. When I asked you your mom's name, you answered it right away. There wasn't even a second. There wasn't even there wasn't even a. You knew it. I asked you your goal, you didn't know it right away. You know what that tells me? You have no clarity of vision right now. So I could give you the rest of the 6 steps and the 7 steps to success, but if you are not clear on what you want, nothing else is going to happen. We need clarity. What do you want by the end of the year? And I said, well, there's a couple of things that I want. So it's kind of hard. That was my answer to him. There's a couple of things that I want that I want to accomplish by the end of the year. So it's kind of hard to tell you, you know, what the exact thing is. He was like, okay, so start telling me, what is it that you want? So I started telling him, I'm like, you know what, I want to hit this rank in my business, and I want to do this for my family, and I want to travel here, and I want to start this business and all of these things. So he sat there, he looked at me. He said, okay. He said, these are great goals. These are beautiful. You want to retire your family. You know, you want to travel more. You want to invest more. You want to hit this level in your business. You want to grow your brand here, so on and so forth. Correct? I'm like, great. Yeah, of course. So he says, we need to create a goal, something that is quantifiable. It has to be quantifiable. Now, what does quantifiable means? It has to be something that we can measure. He said, you told me that you wanted a goal to help your family. You want to retire your family. You want to buy them a house. But that's not quantifiable. It's a great goal, but we can't measure that goal, right? You said you want to travel more. You said you want to do all these great things, but we need something that's quantifiable. So he said, I want you to pick a number that you have to earn every single month for you to be able to do everything else. That's what he told me. He said, pick a number. What do you have to earn every month for you to be able to accomplish all your goals? Because that's what's going to help you. If you focus on that one goal, it'll help you accomplish every other goal. And at the time, for me, that goal was $30,000 a month. I said, if I can make $30,000 a month, you know, I can provide for my family. I can, you know, hit a certain level in my business. I can invest here. I can travel more. I can do that. So he said, that's your goal by the end of the year. You want to get to $30,000 a month in income. And that became my goal. I was clear because now I can measure that. Because at the time when I was doing this, I was at like 2,000 to 5,000 a month. That was kind of like the range that I was at. So if I'm at 2,000 to 5,000 a month, that means I got to get to where now, remember, I can measure this now. Let's say I'm at 5,000 a month. I need another 25. I can measure the next 25,000 and figure that out. So that's kind of like the direction that he took me in. And I finally decided, okay, this is what I want. Now, based off of that, real quick, type a 1 in the chat box if you are clear on what you want for the year by the end of the year. And remember, it's not about money. It's never about money. It's about the person you got to become to earn that money. You see, the person I had to become to earn that money was a lot. I had to grow a lot. I had to learn a lot. I had to, you know, eliminate so many distractions. I had to, you know, cut people off and do all of these different things in order for me to do those things. So remember, the money is not the main goal. It's the person you got to become to earn that money that becomes the big reward out of that. So the first step is, number 1, decide what you want. All right, very key. Step number 2, he told me, Nano, you got to write it down twice a day. So here I am every day. He said, you got to write it down once in the morning and once in the night, every day, 7 days a week. He said, I don't care what you tell me. Every single one of us have 2 minutes every day to take a pen and a paper, take your pen and your journal, whatever it is, and you write it down. He said, and I need you to write it down, white paper, blue ink. White paper, blue ink. I don't ever question it. So I said, all right. And every day I would wake up, grab my journal, first thing in the morning, and I would write down my goal. I am so happy and grateful now that I am earning $30,000 a month in residual income. Thank you, God, it is done. And I would write it down every day. I would write it down in the morning, and I would write it down right before I went to bed. I would write it down in the morning, and I would write it down right before I went to bed. Every single day, twice a day. I didn't know why I had to do it. I just did it. I didn't understand it back then. But what a lot of us don't understand is that there is power in you taking time every day to write down your goal. It's power in it. The reason why blue ink is so powerful is because the color blue, it helps with the cognitive function of your mind and remembering the information. Is just it's a lot more soothing to your mind to see the color blue. That's why a lot of these different apps that we use are all blue as well. All right, there's a reason behind all of this stuff, okay? You got to keep this in mind. A lot of big time companies, they use the color blue because it's a lot more accepting. Think about it. iMessage is blue. Facebook is blue. Zoom is blue. Twitter, before it was X, it was blue. All right. All of these different apps that we see, that there's a magic behind the color blue. You need to understand that, and it's because it does something to the brain receptors and the way that you could look it up. It's actually, you could Google it. Why is it more powerful to write with the color blue? And I started to do it every single day. Every single day, I started to write it down because understand this: the moment you write a goal down, and this is statistically, these are by the numbers, the chances of you accomplishing that goal go up by more than 75%. So a goal that's written down on paper, you write down your goal on paper and you're doing it twice a day, the chances increase by more than 75% of you accomplishing that goal because you wrote it down. So if you're not writing your goals down every single day, you're doing yourself a massive disservice. If you don't take the time daily to write your goals down, you're doing yourself a huge, huge disservice. Massive, massive disservice. And if you want to take the advanced side of it, right? Anybody want the advanced sauce? Type advanced in the chat box if you want the advanced version of writing your goals down. Anybody want the advanced version of writing your goals down? This takes a little bit more time, but there's this method called the 3-6-9 method. 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, 9 times before you go to bed. That's the advanced version of the 3-6-9 method. If you can do it that way, it's so powerful. And you know what? If let me see. Can you explain? Let me ask ChatGPT real quick something. So here's what it says. I asked ChatGPT, can you explain why the 3-6-9 method is so powerful when it comes to writing down your goals daily? This is what it said. It said the 3-6-9 method is considered powerful for writing goals daily because it blends repetition, focus, and intention setting. Principles rooted both in psychology and manifestation practices. Here's why it works so well. Number one, repetition reinforces the goal. Writing your goal down 3 times in the morning, 6 times in the afternoon, and nighttime, and 9 times at night helps imprint the goal into your subconscious mind. It creates mental clarity and consistency, and it signals importance to your brain, making it more likely that you'll act in alignment with your goal. That's number one. Number two, it reinforces and it builds momentum. Doing this 3 times a day keeps your goal at the top of your mind. It trains your brain to look for opportunities throughout the day. And it also engages your RAS, your reticular activating system. This is important. Your reticular activating system is the brain's filter that helps you notice what's relevant. Like when you buy a new car and you start it and you start seeing it all over the place. All right. And there's a lot of he gives a couple more. He says numerology and intention, optional but not popular. And then he says writing activates deeper cognition as well. Compared to thinking or typing, handwriting enhances memory and comprehension, connects physical action with mental focus, creating a mind-body loop that strengthens commitment. And then it also creates a habit of goal orientation. He says, so this is why it's the most effective, because of repetition, timing, handwriting, spiritual meaning, habit building, and subconscious programming. There's so much that comes from this. So if we're not doing this, remember a lot of the success that we're all looking for, a lot of the things that we're striving to work towards, we need to imprint these things into our subconscious mind, because we talked about this on Monday about the rewiring of our mind. And it all happens through the repetition of the information that we're constantly feeding ourselves, which leads to point number 3 of this training, step number 3, which is you become what you think about most of the time. You become what you think about most of the time. The reason why writing down your goal goes hand in hand with step number 3 is because think about it. If you're writing your goal down every single day, it's always on your mind. You're waking up, you're writing down your goal, you're thinking about your goal. You write it down in the afternoon, you're thinking about your goal. You write it down before you go to bed, you're thinking about your goal. This is so important that you guys understand. And believe it or not, the last thing that you feed your mind before you go to bed is so important. Like a lot of us, here's a trick that a lot of people don't know. One of the best ways to impress your subconscious mind is what you feed your mind right before you go to bed. Because remember, when you go into sleep, you're going into subconscious sleep. That's when your brain, this is how your dreams come about. So what are you feeding your mind right before you go to bed? Are you on your phone? Are you on Instagram? Are you doom scrolling before you go to bed? Or are you actually feeding your mind good, positive information before bed? This is why night routines are so important, right, Emmy? You got to write your goals down. You got to read a couple of pages of a good book. All right, there's a couple of things that you guys got to do. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab something real quick for us. Give me 1 second. So I have this book right here that I read before I go to bed. It's called The Feeling is the Secret. And in this book, there's a chapter dedicated to sleep. Literally, look at this. Sleep. There's a whole chapter dedicated to sleep. And just listen to this really quick. He says, sleep is the life that occupies 1/3 of our stay on earth. It is the natural door into the subconscious mind. It is the natural door into the subconscious mind. And so it is with sleep that we are now concerned. The conscious 2/3 of our life on earth is measured by the degree of attention we give sleep. This is so deep, it gets deep. Our understanding of and delight in what we sleep has to bestow will cause us night after night before we set out, before we keep an appointment with a lover, right? So let me show you guys something here. Here's what he says. And he also quotes the Bible. He says, as it is in heaven, so it is on earth. He says, as in the subconscious, so on earth. Whatever you have in your consciousness as you go to sleep, it is the measure of your expression in the waking 2/3 of your life on earth. Nothing stops you from realizing your objective, which is to save all the failures and all the stuff before you go to bed. So if you go to sleep thinking about failure, thinking about stress, thinking about these things, then majority of the time, that's what's going to impress your subconscious mind as you sleep. And that's what's going to control the waking 2/3 that you're up. This is important that we understand this. All right. He said, before you go to sleep, you should always feel the wish fulfilled before you drop off to sleep. You never draw out of the deep of yourself that which you want. You always draw that which you are. And you are that which you feel yourself to be, as which you are falling asleep to. It's a phenomenal read. You guys should. It's so much. I could go deep into it. The last thing I'm going to say here, listen to what he said. He says, once asleep, man has no freedom of choice. His entire slumber is dominated by his last waking concept of self. It follows, therefore, that he should always assume the feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction before he retires to sleep. This is important. So think about it. I'm going to repeat this again. Once a man or woman is asleep, they have no freedom of choice. Your whole slumber, your whole sleep, the amount of hours you spend sleeping is going to be dominated by his last waking concept of himself or herself. This is so important. So think about it. If you're going to sleep every night and you're thinking about whatever you're thinking about, that's what's going to be impressed into your subconscious mind. Understand your subconscious mind creates more than 90% of the results and the things that happen in your life. So if you think about it, think about what your life's been like lately. A lot of it is a reflection of how you've been falling asleep, what you've been feeding your mind before you go to sleep, what you've been thinking about before you go to sleep. You become what you think about most of the time. So what are we thinking about before we go to bed? This goes into everything else. That's why they say, this is why I'm so big on the morning routine as well, because they say that whatever you feed your mind in the first 30 minutes to an hour of waking up will determine the direction of your thoughts for the rest of the day. So if you wake up and you're thinking of bills, stress, failure, whatever it is, then guess what? Your majority of your thoughts throughout the day, they're going to be that. And I can tell you because I've been there. I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to wake up and be stressed out about a situation, a business, a circumstance, or whatever it is. And guess what? And guess what will happen? Throughout the day, I get glimpses of those thoughts. Oh, damn, this stress, this problem, this bill, this. And it just becomes a part of my day. And then guess what? I'm also falling asleep thinking about it. And then it becomes a cycle. And now what happens is you become what you think about most of the time. So now I am attracting situations, circumstances, people. I am attracting these things into my life because it's what I'm thinking about all the time. And understand that the emotions that you feel and the things that you think about, they give you reflections of it. So that's why certain things happen in our life that we're like, yo, why is this happening in my life? Why are these things happening to me in my life? No, they're just a reflection of the things that you've been feeling. You've been stressed out. Okay, here's more reasons to stress. You've been sad. Here's another circumstance in your life that's going to make you sadder. You've been worried about money. Here's another circumstance in your life that's going to make you worry about money even more. I've seen it. It's actually incredible because when you understand it and when you know these things, now you see it happening to you. I'm like, yo, like I created this. This is why this is happening. This is why this is happening. This is why this is happening is because I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about this, and this is what's being impressed into my subconscious mind. And now the world is a reflection of what I've been thinking about. This is happening. This is happening. This is happening. Your mind will find it and prove it to you. Facts. It's true what Femi's saying in the chat. That's really how it works. Remember, these are the 7 steps to creating the life that you want. And the thing is that the way that our lives and the way that society has set everything up, it has set everything up for people to fail. Remember, we were programmed to fail. We were programmed to fail. A lot of us, the whole way that society is set up, you don't think, and look, this is the truth. And I don't like to go down this rabbit hole sometimes because I can scare some people. But you don't think that the people that know this information are using it against us? The people that know this information and are evil, they're using this against us. They know this information. They don't want you to operate from the highest level. They know that if they're able to program you to think a specific way and impress it into your subconscious mind consistently enough, that you'll get to the point where you won't no longer have control because guess what? They already controlling you. This is important. Did you guys know that the most valuable thing that these higher ups value is not money, is not the resources? You know what it is one word. It's control. Because it's more of us than it is of them. How is it that 1% of the world can control 99% of it? How do you think that happens? How do you think that happens? It's because of control. Control. They have it all set up from the moment we're born to the moment we become teenagers or whatever it is you want to call it, or adults. We've already been programmed. A lot of people don't know this. Why do you think it's so hard for people to become successful in life? Especially somebody like me that grew up in Washington Heights, New York City, Washington Heights, New York City. Why do you think it was so? Why do you think it's been so hard for somebody like me to become successful and do the things? Because think about it. From the moment of what's the name of that I'm looking for? The moment that I became a seed or an embryo inside of my mom's belly, I've already started the programming because it started with my mom's way of thinking. And as the environment that she was in, everybody around us, nobody was thinking big. Nobody was thinking how to become millionaires or how to grow and how to know this stuff. So think about it. From the moment I'm in her belly, I'm being programmed. Then I come out and I'm a baby now and I'm a couple days old. And think about what my parents are thinking about. Think about what they're saying. Think about the environment, the news, what they're watching. Think about what's been subconsciously being programmed into my mind since I'm a baby, since I'm a kid. The words. Did you guys know that the time that a baby's mind is the most open is when they're born? Like in those first 4 years, 5 years is when the baby's mind, subconscious mind, is the most open. That's why the best time to teach a baby different languages is when they're young, is when they're babies. All right. So what happens is, you think about this. Think about this. If your parents weren't already rich and successful and wealthy and understood this information, your parents were just teaching you what they already knew. Innocently, though. It's not their fault. They were just doing it innocently. That's why all they did was. So I'm up and I'm 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years young. I'm living with my parents. My parents are not successful entrepreneurs. My dad was a taxi driver. My mom was a home attendant. A home attendant is somebody that takes care of old people. My dad made anywhere from 60 to 80K a year as a taxi driver. And my mom made 20, 30K a year. Right? Did I have a very grateful life? Yes, I lived a good life. As you know, my mom always say, we lived a rich life even though we were poor, because we always had we always had food on the table, we had a roof over our head, we always had clothes on our back. We never really missed anything, right? So my mom would always say, we live a rich life but we're poor. She would always tell that to me. She would always say in Spanish, she would like, nosotros somos ricos pobremente. In Spanish, she would say that to me. But it was true, because she said it's true. If you think about it, as long as you have a roof over your head and you have food on the table, you have clothes on your back, you have an AC, you have everything good, you are rich. There's a lot of people that don't have those things. So I was always grateful. But let's get back to what I'm talking about, which is the programming. The programming is the key, the mindset, the things that we think, the limiting beliefs, all of these things, they get implanted in us. And then I reached the age of 23 years old. I graduate from college. I'm still living at my parents' house. I graduated from college. I have no job. I have no career yet. My baseball career came to an end. And now I'm trying to figure out what's next for Nano. So I've spent since 23 years old till now reprogramming 23 years of bad programming. Like I'm still working on this. Till this day. Because all those years of bad programming as I was growing up were all bad programming, from the self-talk to the beliefs of the beliefs that we have with money, the beliefs that we have with relationships, the beliefs that we have with so many things. I'm still working on that stuff. And I lived with my parents till I was 26. So I've just spent the last 4 years of my life on my own. But I was living with my parents till I was 26, almost 27 years old. So all of that was imprinted in my mind for all those years. If we're really being honest, guys, if let's say we all live to 100, assuming we all live to 100, the first quarter of my life was all bad, negative programming. I wouldn't say all of it was, but a good majority of it was bad, negative programming, which has been installed in my mind. Installed. You know how many things I had to overcome, doubts, beliefs, fears, insecurities, all these things I had to overcome. And you know how I did that? Through the journaling, through the morning routines, through the hundreds of books. Why you think I've read so many books still to this day? Why you think I did it? I didn't do it to prove anything. I did it because I needed to rewire my mind. That's why I'm so obsessed with learning. Why you think I still do mornings with Nano 6 years later? Yes, I love to help people. Yes, I love to inspire people and help people grow and make people aware of information. But there's also a selfish reason why I do this as well, because me teaching it is me relearning it as well. Right? This is helping me grow. This is helping me learn how to speak. This is helping me understand this information deeper and hear it all over again. Because I understand the programming. 25 plus years of bad programming doesn't get changed in just a couple of years. It may take me 10 years. It may take me 15 years to reprogram my mind for success the way that it's supposed to be. And we need to understand that. We need to understand that I'm still at the very beginning of my journey. You guys may see me today and may be like, well, Nano, yo, you've already done all of this. And yes, I'm grateful, but I still have so much more to accomplish. I still have so much more programming to rewire. The way my mentor explained it to me, he says, think about a ball of yarn, right? He says, your mind is like a ball of yarn, a big ball. And he says, you know what you have to do? He says, you have to unravel that big ball of yarn, unravel it, unravel it, unravel it, unravel it, unravel it. And then he says, you have to set it up again, but with the right habits, the right thoughts, and the right things. He says, because this big ball of yarn for the last 25 years, it's been set up wrong, with the wrong beliefs, with the wrong thoughts, the wrong speaking patterns, the wrong subconscious imprints, all of these things. He says, you have to think of it like that. You're going to take it off, take it off, take it off, take it off. And then you got to put it back together, but with the right habits and the right things. And that's where I feel like I'm at. I feel like to be real, I feel like from 25 to 30, I spent those first 5 years unraveling the ball of yarn. And now I'm putting it back together, re-raveling, whatever the word is. Putting it back together now, but what? With the right thoughts, with the right habits, with the right self-talk. All of these things that I've learned from these books. Self-talk. The feeling is a secret. Now my stuff is, I'm established with the Bible. So now my thoughts are built on the Bible. All these things I'm learning about business, how to build my business, your next 5 moves, all these things, guys. Now I'm working on it. Eating the right foods, the right thoughts. All these things are so important because you do become what you think about most of the time. And we got to understand this. You have to understand this. And you need to accept it for what it is, because there is no way around this. You got to put the work in. You have to work on you. You have to be your main priority. And this goes for the 130, 40, 50 plus people that we have on this morning call right now. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yo, I have a lot of work to do and I cannot get out of this. There is no other way out. You know that saying that says no one is coming to save you? I had to learn that the hard way. No one is coming to save any of us. No one. And I can't even save you, because you know what? I can give you the information, but if you don't do it, I can't save you. As much as I would like to save all of you guys, I can't. I can't, because at the end of the day, you have to put the work in. I could give you all the books that I read. I could tell you about the Bible verses that I've studied. I could tell you about all the audios and everything. But if you don't put the work in, if you don't do it yourself, no one is coming to save you. I want you to understand that. I always thought that someone would come save me. I'd be like, yo, I'm a good kid. I come from a good family. I never did nobody wrong. Somebody should save me, right? Nah, nobody's coming to save you, bro. No one is coming to save you, sis. You're going to have to put that work in. I'm telling you. So point number 3 is you become what you think about. Make sure that you're doing the right work every day. Routines will be your best friends. Morning routines, night routines, all these things, mirror work. There's a lot of work that can be done. There's a lot of stuff out there, but it's all for you to remember. All right. So that's point number 3. Point number 4, and it's actually it goes into what I'm going to talk about now. It's all about your self-image, which is act as if you already have what you want. Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. You have to act as if. Nano, what do you mean? Act as if you already have what you're asking for. How would you act if you had all the money that you were looking for? How would you act if you were already at the level in your business? How would you act if you had the amount of money that you have been asking for? How would you act? How would you wake up? How would you feel? How would you talk to people? How would you dress? How would you do these things? And I had to do that. I had to start acting as if. I remember when I was listening to this, I was broke. And this is how true it is 11:11. I was broke when I was acting as if. And I would dress as if I was already a successful business owner. I've shown you guys pictures of the way I used to dress, where I remember these things. I remember I didn't have a lot of money in my pockets, and I would tip like if I was rich. Right? I did these things. Right? Look, I can actually bring up a picture right here. Let me see. Look at this. This picture right here. And I learned this. Let me show you guys something. I brought up my photos here on my side. And this is not to show off or anything, right? But you see in this picture right here, this was March 17, 2018. I'm talking to you guys about almost 7 years ago. I was broke in this picture. As a matter of fact, this was my first event that I ever went to. This was my first convention I ever went to. But I was broke in this picture. I flew out on my last dollar in this picture. But you know what? I was dressed like where I was going. I was speaking like where I was going. Right? Super young there. That's 7. I'm still living at my parents' house here, by the way. Still living at my parents' house. I flew out. You know how much money I had in my pocket in this picture? I had less than $100 in my pocket. My friends, we would eat dinner at McDonald's and Chick-fil-A, Wendy's every night, and we would split it because that's all we had. We couldn't eat at the restaurants in Vegas. We weren't having steak dinners or any of that. We were splitting fast food. And you know what's funny? That suit, Susan, was from a graduation. That was my graduation suit that my mom bought for me as a graduation gift. But guess what I was doing? I was dressing like how I wanted to be addressed. I was creating that in my mind. I'm like, yo, I am going to be successful. All right. But I need to start dressing like that now. I need to start acting like that now. I need to dress like it now. I need to speak like it now. I need to walk like it now. I need to tip like if I'm rich already. Well, I was broke giving homeless people money. I'll never forget my mentor told me, he said, Nano, even though you don't have a lot of money, give like if you were rich. And he says, every time you give to somebody, repeat in your mind, I have more than enough money. I have more than enough money. I have more than enough money. So I would be broke giving people money and telling myself I have more than enough money. Here's $5. Here's $2. Here's this. But in my mind, I have more than enough money. I have more than enough money. I was doing it. Why? Because I was acting as if. I was looking at myself. I said, you know what? The future version of me wakes up at this time. I started waking up at that time. The future version of me is focused on his body, is focused on his mind. He reads every day. He does this. I started to do what everything that the future version of me would do. I started to do it. I started to do it. Started to read every day. I started to study every day. I started to go to the gym every day, wake up early every day, skill development, all these things. I got over my fear of speaking. I got over my fear of talking to people. I got over all those fears. And I started to become more like the future version of myself. So that's so important. Number 4 is one of the most important ones, which is acting as if. Number 5 is the daily routine. The daily routine. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because I know that we've kind of talked about it a little bit in between, but the daily routine is key because you got to fall into a routine. The same way that we fall into a routine when we work a job is the same way that you got to fall in a routine when it comes to working on you. All right. I know people that work jobs. My little brother works a job and I know his routine. Now, thank God my little brother has developed such a strong routine. But when he was just doing a regular job, my little brother would wake up at 7 a.m. and get ready for work, have breakfast. He worked a regular 9 to 5 job, so, he would be on his way out of his house by 8 o'clock. By like 8:30, he would get to work 9 to 5, get out of work, come home. He would go to the gym, have some dinner, watch some Netflix, go to sleep, and wake up and do it again 5 days a week. And I said, bro, that he's like, I told him, I'm like, yo, if you want to be successful in life, bro, if you want to do more than what you're doing right now, you're gonna have to do more than that. And he would always give me the excuse, but he's like, bro, I need to sleep and this and that, and you don't understand, bro. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to hear none of that excuse, bro. If you really want to be successful in life, you're gonna have to develop a routine outside of your job. You know what he does today? Today he wakes up at 4:30 in the morning. He's in the gym by 5 a.m. He's doing his full morning routine from reading to writing his goals down to journaling, listening to audios, all these things. By 7 a.m., he's done with everything. Then he starts his regular process of getting ready for work, eating breakfast, boom, boom, boom. And then he gets out of work. He does his thing. And by 8, 9 o'clock, he's in bed, getting ready to wake up at 9 a.m. again. To get ready to wake up at 4:30 a.m. every day. Today, he's one of the top sales guys, one of the top not insurance agents, financial planners for a big time company in Tampa, making multiple 6 figures. And he always texts me, yo, if it wasn't for the routine, I wouldn't be the person I am today, bro. If I didn't fall into a routine, you got to fall into a routine. And it doesn't matter that you work a job. I'm not saying that everybody here needs to start waking up at 4:30 a.m. My little brother's crazy like that. But what I'm saying is you got to have a routine where you are a priority yourself. And that's number 5. The routine is key. Number 6 is the intention. There needs to be intention behind every action. Intention behind every single action you take. There needs to be intention behind the books that you read. Like, for example, if you're in a time in your life right now where you feel like your self-talk isn't the best, you should be reading a book that's helping you with your self-talk, right? If you're in a time in your life where you need to get closer to God, then you need to be reading the Bible every day, right? Like, you need to figure out where are you in your life and build your life around that. How are we going to help those areas? If you feel like you're struggling financially right now, then let's get intentional about that. Why are you struggling financially? Is it a lack of budget? Is it a lack of financial planning? Is it a lack of income? Like, do we need to find more ways to make money? Right? These are all things that we got to become aware of. If you're struggling in your relationship, let's identify why. Let's get better at it. Let's find books that we could read. Let's find podcasts or audios that we could listen to. Right? These are all things that we got to keep in mind because everything has to have an intention behind it. You can't just do things just to do things. You can't just do a routine because Nano said to do a routine. You can't just write your goals down because Nano said to write your goals down. There needs to be intention behind everything that we do. So important. Very, very important. So create an intention behind everything. And then last but not least, point number 7 is you got to have the whatever it takes mindset. Whatever it takes mindset, which means you're willing to do whatever it takes. I still, to this day, have that mindset. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. If I got to read 400 more books, I'll read it. If I got to wake up early every single day for the next 5 or 10 years, I'll do it. I was having this conversation with my brother Matt when we were in PR, and I'm like, yo, I feel so good about the next decade in my life because I really truly believe in my heart that by 40 years old, I'll be in a place in my life where money won't be an issue anymore. We'll be so far along the journey and we'll have such a beautiful foundation set where we're just going to be serving our purpose at that point. We won't be chasing the materialistic things anymore. We won't be chasing the houses because we already have all the houses. We won't be chasing the cars because we already have all the cars. We won't be chasing money. We won't be chasing any. At that point, it's all going to be about impact. It's all going to be about helping others do it. And to think that, the average age of somebody retiring here in the United States is 65, 67. And to think that we could say that we're going to be fully retired by 40, it's incredible. Now, does it mean that I'm going to be kicking my feet up and just playing golf every day at 40? No, I'm still going to be working my butt off. Don't get me wrong. I'm still be working hard, building companies, building teams, building people, traveling the world, speaking on stages. Absolutely. But to think that by the age of 40, I'm going to be young, handsome, full of life. I really believe that in my lifetime, there's going to be a way for us to live longer. So I'm going to be able to invest into expanding my life and living longer and having a healthy body. I'm going to be 50, 60 years old running marathons, doing things like that. Like that's the way I look at my life. Like I'm going to be in my 50s and my 60s, still full of life, still ready, still strong, all of it. You feel me? So I'm just excited, but guess what? It's going to take money. Like I want to be like LeBron James, investing $1 million a year into my body, into my health. You know how awesome that'll be that I can like those are goals for me. Get to the point where I'm investing $1 million into my body, into the best nutrition, into the best recovery, into the best stem cell stuff, and all of these things. There's so many things out there that we can do, but it costs money. My rich friends that are multi like 8-figure earners, 9-figure earners, they told me about this. They told me about this clinic or this retreat center in Switzerland that is for people that want to live long lives. That, believe it or not, 80% of the audience there is Asian. And a lot of people always say, yo, why is it that Asians live long? Is because these people have access to these kind of things. But guess what he says? He says, yo, to be there is $30,000 to $50,000 for a week. And what they're doing is, bro, you're going through the highest level technology. They're scanning everything in your body from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet, looking for any deficiencies, anything that your body is lacking, or anything that may potentially lead to any future potential diseases. They're eliminating it. They're giving you the supplements. They sat there and they told me all of this. And I was like, yo, bro. And it's like state of the art, the best of the best. But he said, yo, if you don't got 30,000, 50,000, you can't even walk in there. They won't even listen. They won't even talk to you. But what? You need money. You need paper. Who's it? Right now, which one of us has $50,000 of disposable income that we can just grab it and be like, hey, let's go to Switzerland and let's pay for the highest level healthcare? You understand what I'm saying? So that's why we got to work for this kind of income, because one day we're going to be able to do that. But until then, we got to work and we got to keep ourselves healthy and we got to eat the right foods and we got to make sure our minds are in the right place. Like this is next level stuff. Let me see if I can actually find it. I think I remember the name of it, but I can't remember it off the top. I know it's in the mountains. Yeah, here it is. Let me see. Does it say how much it cost? Yeah, here it is. It's called the Shannon method. I think is this one, if I'm not mistaken. Here it is. It stands out as Switzerland's premier superhuman health retreat, offering a transformative wellness experience that combines cutting-edge science with luxury. Located in the serene shores of Lake Lucerne, this flagship property of Chanet Group is renowned for its rigorous medical. It's been for over 50 years, integrates Western medicine with traditional Chinese practices. It focuses on detoxification, metabolic optimization, anti-aging through a combination of personalized diagnosis, advanced treatment, and a strict-based plant-based diet. This is incredible. Hydrotherapy, mud wraps, advanced treatments like red light therapy, cryotherapy, anti-gravity treadmills, comprehensive diagnosis, including molecular lab analysis and epigenetics. This is unreal. Like, yo, it gets deep, 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 deep stuff, but it costs a lot of money. This one, I think, goes for like 10 stacks, depending on the package. But, you know, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, these are the kind of things that we have to start working towards, because one day, imagine how nice it'll be for you to take your family, your mom, your dad, your kids, and be like, yo, you know what? Let's go get ourselves, let's go become superhumans when it comes to our health. Let me make sure that my mom is solid. I want to do that for my parents. I want to be able to take my mom, my dad, my little brother, my inner circle, my family, and take them, yo, let's go get genetically tested at the highest level, because I want to make sure that you guys live for the next 10, 20, 50 years. Let me make sure you're good, mom. Let me make sure you're good, dad. Let me make sure that there's no future diseases that are going to pop up in your life here now that you're in your early 70s. I want my father to live to 90 plus years old. I want my mom to live to 90 plus years old. But you know what that's going to take? Paper, money, because regular healthcare isn't going to do what money will do for my parents. So I need to understand that. I need to do that for my little brother as well. Myself. We have a legacy to create. The longer I'm on this earth, the bigger we can build this legacy. So I can leave something for my kids and my kids' kids and my grandkids to be able to take advantage of. So I'm thinking about 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. My goal is to invest hundreds and thousands and millions of dollars into my health so I can live longer. But guess what? It takes paper. And if you don't have it, then you can't do it. This is important that we all understand this stuff. And like I said, these are my goals, obviously. But I know that a lot of you guys may have similar goals that you guys want to do for your kids and your families and the people closest to you. But you got to have the whatever it takes mindset. That's why we got to do this work now, so that later in our lives, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when we're all earning $100 a month, $250 a month, $500 a month, $1 million a month, we can do those things. We can live in those places. We can travel to those locations. We can live in the most beautiful places in the world. We can give back to charities. We can invest into churches. We can do all these things and be able to live our lives to the truest of our potential. This is so key. All right, guys. So I know I talked more than usual today, but I just wanted to share that with you guys. So those right there are the 7 steps to creating the life that you want. Number 1, decide what you want. Get clear on what you want. Number 2, write it down. Write it down twice a day. Write it down twice a day is so important. Number 3, understanding that you become what you think about most of the time. Number 4, act as if. Number 5 is the daily routine. Number 6 is the intention behind everything you do. And number 7 is the whatever it takes mindset. You do those 7 things every day. You get clear on what you want. You write it down twice a day. You understand that you become what you think about. You act as if every day. You complete your daily routine. You do everything with intention. The whatever it takes mindset will be set in place. All right, guys. So with that being said, that wraps up today's call, guys. Thank you guys so much for hopping on. I will see you guys tomorrow for another great episode of Mornings with Nano YouTube edition. I pray that you guys got a lot of value from today's call. If you guys got value, put some 777s in the chat. I appreciate everybody. We had over 150 people live on the call at one point, and we were getting a lot of value. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna let you guys go enjoy the rest of your days. Keep these 7 steps in your mind. Teach them to somebody. Keep them in mind. Little prayer real quick, and then we'll end the call right there. Quick prayer. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Wednesday morning. We want to thank you for the clarity that you've been giving us lately with all these amazing trainings. We want to thank you for your grace. We want to thank you for forgiving us. We want to thank you for all of it, Father. We are just so grateful for the way that our lives have been unfolding. And we know that your hand is all over us. We know that you're removing everything in our lives that isn't serving us. We know that people in our lives that are leaving our lives are leaving because they're not meant to be in our lives. You are truly doing a lot of work, Father. And we just want to say we notice it. We appreciate it. And we thank you for it all. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts, because none of the things that are happening for our lives right now wouldn't be possible without your guidance, without your help. We're even so grateful for the challenges in our life, because we know deep down that they're here to help us grow and become better. So thank you so much for it all, Father. We love you. Everything that we do is for your glory and your praise. And we're going to go out and have a great day in your name, Father. So we love you. We appreciate you. In your name we pray. Amen. 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 Amen, guys. So love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. God bless. Let's go.